It's peak summer. Your phone is burning hot. And right on cue, the internet's favorite life hack makes the rounds again. Just toss it in the fridge for a few minutes. Please don't do that. Repair shops are currently dealing with the aftermath of exactly this advice. Technicians are seeing an influx of dead devices, and one shop recently recorded an iPad with a heat-damaged battery bursting into flames right on the counter. This gauge shows the official safe operating range for a modern smartphone, between 0 and 35 degrees Celsius. An ordinary summer day pushes that internal temperature right to the top of the safe zone before you even pick it up. If you look at the gauge now, you'll see what happens when we add active workloads. Charging generates its own warmth. A dark screen and direct sunlight absorbs heat like a solar panel. Running heavy GPS navigation pushes the processor to its limit. Stack these together, and the internal temperature spikes deep into the red danger zone. Wrap a thick protective case around that device, or toss it onto a soft surface like a bed, and the problem gets worse. As we can see here, the case acts as a shell, trapping heat and blocking the phone's ability to vent energy. To protect its own hardware, the phone fights back. It automatically throttles down the processing speed and dims the screen, a self-defense mechanism that usually leaves the user frustrated and looking for a quick solution. Perfectly normal summer physics creates an artificial panic. When the phone gets sluggish, it's easy to reach for a desperate cure that is far more destructive than the heat itself. Thermal shock happens when the temperature drops too fast for the hardware to adapt. The damage comes from the extreme speed of the change rather than the cold air itself. Moving a hot phone into a cold fridge causes internal hot air molecules to rapidly transform into water droplets. Panning across the circuitry, this moisture condenses directly onto the logic boards, display connections, charging port, and battery terminals, triggering electrical shorts and creeping corrosion. The fridge trick appears to work because the phone comes out cool to the touch, but this masks the damage accumulating inside. Every time the phone is removed and hits warm air, more moisture condenses, and the internal rust silently compounds. Sudden temperature extremes bypass the software protections built into the phone and launch a direct attack on its most vulnerable physical hardware. Manufacturers recommend a gradual recovery process instead. Handled correctly, a hot phone returns to safe operating temperatures in 15 to 20 minutes. The first step is cutting off the active heat sources. Unplug the device to stop the battery from warming up and remove the case. This exposes the back panel, allowing the materials to radiate heat directly into the air. Next, turn the screen off, close heavy applications, and switch to airplane mode. This shuts down heat-generating radio antennas constantly searching for cellular signals. Finally, move the device to ambient shade with moving air. A household fan is a safe tool because it only cycles room temperature air, cooling the device without any risk of thermal shock. Safe cooling is a passive process. You are simply stripping away the thermal inputs and letting the glass and metal naturally shed their stored energy. Sometimes extreme device temperatures have nothing to do with the summer sun. Occasionally, the heat is a symptom of a deeper hardware or software failure. A phone that overheats every single time you plug it in, even while sitting idle in an air-conditioned room, suggests a damaged charging cable or a failing port. A device running hot in your pocket while it isn't being used points toward a stalled software update, rogue background apps, or hidden malware churning the processor. This image reveals a much more urgent sign of physical failure, a swollen battery. If the back panel is bulging outward or lifting away from the metal frame, the battery has already suffered significant damage. Summer heat is a temporary environmental nuisance you can manage. These specific symptoms indicate a permanent mechanical breakdown like downs that cooling cannot fix. A swollen lithium battery is a severely heat-stressed component. When it starts to warp the shape of the phone, it is nearing catastrophic failure. This diagram illustrates a process called thermal runaway. When one failing cell generates enough heat to ignite itself, the energy radiates outward, triggering the surrounding cells in an uncontrollable cascading chain reaction. Even without a dramatic failure, heat causes long-term damage. Leaving a phone to bake on a car dashboard degrades its internal lithium structure, permanently reducing the battery's total lifespan. Trust the phone's built-in throttling and stick to the 15-minute passive cooling routine. True concern should be reserved for the physical deformation of a failing battery.